Welcome to BaseballGuys.com. I'm your host, Ray Flowers. Good news for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They're getting two of their main horses back in the starting rotation, hopefully next week to face the Angels. Davis and Jeff Niemann, both on the sidelines with shoulder issues, both through simulated games, both got good reports, and as I just mentioned, both are expected back in the Rays rotation next week. What does this mean for Jeremy Hellickson, the dynamic youngster who has looked fantastic since being called up by the Rays? Chances are good that he'll be sent back down to the minor leagues. The club might hold on to him to work out of the bullpen, but they might just want to leave good enough alone, allow him to make a couple of more starts in the minor leagues before shutting him down, thereby destroying the value of Hellickson in mixed leagues. Hold on to him in AL-only leagues, but in mixed leagues, you're probably going to want to go in a different direction because the Rays aren't going to give him a chance to continue to work out of that starting rotation. A pitcher who has given all kinds of fits to his owner this year is Rich Harden of the Rangers. He's been into the lineup, out of the lineup, he's been injured, he's been effective, he's been just awful throwing balls everywhere. Well, he had a very strong start in the minor leagues with 10 strikeouts and 1 earned run allowed earlier this week. The Rangers come out and said he's going to start for them on Monday. If you're looking to catch lightning in a bottle, the guy has a dynamic arm. He has thrown the ball a bit slower this year, and as I mentioned, he's had a very hard time throwing strikes. But if he's on waivers in a mixed league and you need some help in the pitching categories, you're not going to find a better arm than Harden's at this point of the season. You're just going to have to hope that he can throw strikes and stay healthy. Conor Jackson, he can't stay healthy. Again, another issue that's caused him to go to the DL, a lower abdominal strain here with Conor Jackson. I mean, it's really getting to the point now where we have to worry about this West Nile virus that he picked up last year when he was with the Diamondbacks. If it did some kind of damage to his body that he just hasn't been able to come back from since. He continues to pick up bumps and bruises. He continues to have injuries all over the place. He just can't stay on the field. Pretty much a completely wasted season this year after a completely wasted season last year. That may be why the A's have basically come out and said, look, they're going to pick up the option on the contract for Coco Crisp. Crisp, who plays very good defense, can steal a base and, hit to 270, 280 while getting on base a bit. He's someone the A's are going to need if they can't count on Conor Jackson to stay healthy moving forward. Jason Bay, another player who's had a hard time staying healthy the last, month, and it's really because of one issue, and that's the concussion that he suffered. A report came out that said he hasn't been able to go 48 hours without any concussion-related symptoms. That's key. If you can't go multiple days in a row without the symptoms being there, you can't ramp up your physical activity for, want of causing damage to yourself long term. At this point, we just don't know, quite frankly, if Bay's even going to be able to return this season. And in fact, manager Jerry Manuel came out and said he wasn't sure if Bay would be back at any point in 2010. If you have a deal spot with Bay, continue to hold on to him. If he's sitting on your bench, just taking up space in a mixed league, you're probably going to want to go in another direction because we may have seen the last of him for 2010. Cody Ross. Cody Ross has had a pretty good season. He's had a pretty good season the last couple of years too. Teams looking to add a bat might be interested in adding Cody Ross, especially since he was placed on waivers. Well, it looks like the Giants, and again, this is not official because this information is not released publicly, but it appears that the Giants put a claim in on Cody Ross. Now, how does the waiver process work? It works in reverse order from records, so the teams with the worst records get first shot, all the way up to the teams with the best record getting the last shot. Whether the Giants really want Ross or not, I mean, they added Pat Burrell, they added Jose Guillen, they don't exactly need an extra outfielder. The belief is that they picked him up through the waiver process or put a claim in on Ross through the waiver process in order to block him from going to a team like the Padres that could very much use his extra bat. Will the Giants get stuck with Ross? Will the Marlins let him loose and say, hey, Giants, you just take care of the $1 million that's left? Remains to be seen how that's going to be handled, but at the bare minimum, the Giants have precluded other teams, such as the Marlins, from adding a bat that they might need down the stretch. Ronny Paulino, another Marlin, well, he was suspended 50 games reportedly. The New York Post is reporting this. 50 games for performance-enhancing drug failure on a test. Another player bites the dust. There's only 42 games left for the Marlins this season. That means that the suspension will last into next season for Paulino. Jeff Baker, who was the catcher that would split time with Paulino, has been out for a long time. He should return next week, which is good timing for the Marlins. This unfortunately destroys Paulino's value. Obviously, he's a must-drop immediately in all leagues, and you have to worry about what he's going to do next season, how many teams are going to give him a chance after this setback. And then finally, Carlos Gonzalez. White hot, arguably the best hitter in baseball since the All-Star break. Now, maybe Joe Mauer might have an argument there. But Carlos Gonzalez has really been on fire. He's inserted himself into the NL MVP race. But he injured his knee banging into the wall. And now he's going to miss some time. The Rockies are hopeful. They have their fingers crossed that he'll be able to return either Sunday or very early next week. There still hasn't been any talk of the disabled list at this point. Each passing day makes that a little bit more of a possibility. But again, the Rockies hope to have him back in 3 or 4 days and back to ripping the cover off the baseball as they too make a push for the playoffs. I'm Ray Flowers, baseballguys.com. Thanks for joining me. Everyone have a good weekend. And don't forget to visit me at twitter.com/baseballguys if you need that baseball information around the clock.